What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back with another Destiny 2 video. We've got the weekly reset for the 13th of January. I apologise if I sound a bit bunged up, I've got the man flu. But that doesn't stop the train from moving, of course. This is the first update of the year for Destiny 2, so new patch today, hopefully with some fixes for some of the Renegades issues we've been seeing. So we'll cover the patch notes, we'll also cover any new content or surges, updates, which affect our actual kind of core gameplay for the week, and then we get all of the featured rewards, activities, the vendor reset, and some additional updates from Bungie. So, as always guys, if you enjoy the video, say something kind about Lord Saladin down in the comment section. That guy's feeling real lonely, as they won't let him back into the tower. It's rude, isn't it? Now though, let's get into it. So, we'll start out with the patch notes for today. This is the first update for the year, of course, 9505. First up, for general Renegades changes, they fixed an issue where the mission Welcome to the Frontier could sometimes softlock when returning to the hangar under poor networking conditions. Another issue where claiming engrams from Syndicate Quartermasters generated an empty engram in the wrapped items section of the inventory screen. Another one where claiming rank up reward engrams from Syndicate Quartermasters required Witch Queen ownership, so glad that's fixed. Otherwise, there was one where players logging into multiple characters of the same class could actually progress or lose weekly Syndicate shipments, and then they say the salaried mercenary triumph is now tracked per account, not per class, and they've reduced the number of Guardian kills required for the knock 'em down triumph to 5, where it was previously 15. Otherwise, in Lawless Frontier specifically, they fixed a problem where certain smuggler encounters could be blocked from completion if relic items were accidentally dropped in inaccessible locations. They also fixed a rare issue where smuggle runs could softlock at the start of the exfil. They fixed an issue in sabotage activities where sniping or killing the initial antenna holder extremely fast would cause the encounter to not progress. Another issue where the Venus Grotto double-cross arena allowed some invaders to hide from the team at the top of the PvP dome. They can't hide anymore, apparently. There's also a fix for a rare bug where players can repeatedly invade because the portal stays open, and an issue where non-invader walkers would sometimes not have correct damage reduction. And then onto Equilibrium. They reduced the cooldown and increased the damage for Shadow Power to improve its utility. That's obviously the special ability in the dungeon. Otherwise, they fixed an issue where the Shadow Power tutorial would continually resurface on alternate characters. Ones where the Harrow Apprentice would not pursue players and not progress the encounter, another where the shields couldn't be removed to begin a second DPS phase. Issues with the visuals on those power pools, and an issue in the final encounter where some of the pools were actually granting less Shadow Power than intended. There's also one there where they fixed the third puzzle not resetting correctly after a failed completion attempt. So, some good changes, but no specific adjustments to the feats just yet. Otherwise, in the portal, they increased the activity timer in the Derealized Conquest. They also increased the starting number of revive tokens available in high difficulty arena ops and higher difficulty match-made playlist fireteam ops activities. Plus a problem where the psionic protection buff was not displaying in Heliostat, and one where Grandmaster Vanguard alerts were not available in Fireteam Finder. Otherwise, in the Crucible, they fixed an issue where Crucible Ops match completions didn't contribute to the Be Greater weekly objective, another issue where the Trials Lighthouse chest would not award the shaders as intended, so those should be available this weekend. Otherwise, an issue that allowed players with an active PvP restriction to still access Trials, the problem where lobby balancing was enabled in Trials, and an issue with the latest Trials of Osiris Ghost Shell was unobtainable for some players. Onto exotics though, for Armamentarium they fixed the problem where grenade throws with the exotic equipped were not reloading heat frame weapons, so that's nice. And on the Metaedoxia, they fixed an issue where the suspending bursts could potentially chain indefinitely. Otherwise, on Service Earth Luzaku, they fixed an issue causing threadling nests to lose more health quickly in some activities, and the lifetime should now not change from activity to activity. They also fixed an issue with Wishkeeper, where ensnaring lines were not generating when hitting a target directly. There was one with the Praxic Blade as well, where players could activate the Hyperblade perk without guarding as intended. I don't think I even knew about that. And for weapon perks, they fixed an issue where the accelerated Assault Origin trait would lose ammo on burst weapons, so that affects things like the PSI Eterna, and one of the fusion rifles, which I now completely forget the name of. So that's the bulk of the patch notes. Give me your thoughts on any of the changes down below. Nice to see a few fixes at least, and I'll link the rest of the patch notes article in the description as well. Moving on to the gameplay side for the week, Bungie just posted, heavy weapon damage and ammo drops have been increased in all portal activities. What heavy weapons are you making a permanent home for in your inventory this week? So there we go, that's kind of the surge for the week. I guess in a way, it also confirms, there it is, heavy surge. It also confirms we do not get Arms Week this week. Not that Bungie announced that we would, but of course it was supposed to be in January. No news on it just yet, but probably we'll hear about it on Thursday. On the Renegade side, if you've earned weekly shipments, of course, you'll have that pop-up now, and you can visit the spider to pick up those death marks or whatever it is that it gives us on a weekly basis. Looking at the Vanguard alert menu though, let's see what the featured loot is this week. We've got something once again. Last week it was PSI Eterna, which has now been fixed, at least in terms of the origin trade. And now we have something once again, which I believe is actually the same rotation we had around about a month ago. Something like that. So maybe we have kind of a fixed rotation on these, I'm not sure. But for the Grandmaster Vanguard alert, we have Sunless Cell. And as we can see, Horror's Least is the featured weapon. So good luck on the hunt if you're going after any of those this week. And next, as we fly into the tower, let's take a look at the Eververse store this week. I do really like this Osteostriga ornament, I have to say. I'm not going to buy it for silver, but I think it's kind of cool. We'll focus on the Bright Dust stuff though. We have Mirror Mirror, an exotic emote on the front page for 3,250 Bright Dust right there. Having to catch my breath, man, with this cold or flu business. We have the N7 Mark, and I was kind of curious if Bungie would rotate between the Taken armor sets and the N7 stuff, because they had started selling, you know, like individual bits of the Taken stuff, but maybe it's just going to be N7 stuff for the foreseeable future. Either way, the class item is 1,200 Bright Dust, and then we have the convertible shell, Exotic Ghost right here. That one's up for 2,850 Bright Dust. Also, the Swirling Leaf entrance transmat effect is up, and the Wayfarer's Guise is the featured shader. Certainly some bright colours going on right there. Additionally, on the front page, though, we have Tide Smoke available this week. But as we move to the main Bright Dust section, right here, we have Easing Up, an exotic emote once again. A little bit of painting on the easel there for 3,250 Bright Dust. We also have exotic ornaments for armour this time around, potentially for oh no, this is Blastwave Striders. I was going to say Edge of Fate armor. Of course it isn't, but for the Titan at least, we have Explosive Reactive Brigadine available this week, which I don't think is too flashy, but those are up for 1,500 Bright Dust, so check in on all your characters. Otherwise, there is the Harper's Shell Exotic Ghost for 2,850 Bright Dust as well. A very plain looking thing, but a harpy nonetheless. Additionally, Waking Nightmare is the exotic ship, which is available for 2,000 Bright Dust. With those kind of Moon Sorrow vibes going on. Pit of Heresy style stuff, I guess. And then we have the Gigantes Roma Exotic Sparrow, which is up for 2,500 Bright Dust. And for the weapon ornament, it is Skull Splitter. I believe this is the first time it's been sold for Bright Dust, so if you enjoy rocking your Wolfsbane, you can finally grab that without spending silver, I suppose. But otherwise, there is the Time Loss Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. And for the second page of shaders, we have Chrome Stock right here. As always, they are 300 Bright Dust. Additionally, Grayscale Undergrowth, which we see kind of frequently in the store. And then there is the Lucid shader, which actually might look alright with certain sets of gear. Otherwise, Raven Silk is also available this week. So that's the shaders. We do have Reef Awoken, Up in Smoke, and Unspun Fate for our transmat effects, which are 450 Bright Dust. So let us know in the comment section if you plan to grab anything from the store. And our final mention in terms of vendors, at the very least, is for Shader 1 down here in the annex. Like we said, no Arms Week just yet, so Shader's still a bit lonely. I'll just call her Shader 1 now. We also have the NPA Werewalker set of gear. If you want it for cosmetic purposes, you can grab that this week. For shaders, though, we have Rasmussen Clan available right here, which is quite a nice one from Back in Black Armory. Otherwise, Kairos Black is available. And very finally, for faction shaders, we have Dead Orbit Vision. So let us know if you'll grab any of those. And so for today, that is everything we have to round up in the video, guys. As always, I hope you found this one useful, and if you have, do us a huge favor and drop us a comment below and a like rating. It really does make a difference. Plus, if you're new, feel free to hit subscribe and I can keep you up to date with everything related to the game. But otherwise, let us know if you're wrapping any things up in the game down in the comment section. And otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome day.